And Jim, we're going to be throwing the keys to the show today to our listeners, and we're going to
I
be
love
fielding
it.
some questions from all over the globe. And we'll start with
Love,
Mini
love,
Max.
love it.
Mini
I'm
Max
sorry.
writes us and says, with so many moments of support and love from the fans during your time in WWE, was it ever discussed creatively to potentially use you in a capacity beyond play by play, meaning like an on air authority figure? Was anything like that ever discussed, Jim, to have you be a
Not,
participant in the show beyond being a commentator?
very casually. I think if I was in WWE during the Triple H reign, which is ongoing, something probably could have been worked out, but nothing official. I would certainly been open to it.
Charlie McClanahan has a fun question. He says, Mr. Ross, what's the most scared you've been at something that's happened traveling between towns? Of course, I've talked to a lot of people through the years, Jim, and they tell me that, performing's no problem. It's the traveling that really wears you down and it can put you in some pretty precarious situations. Do you have one of those touch and go traveling stories you'd like to share with us?
I don't have anything significant, Conrad. I've been in so many airplanes that has lost altitude, had rough landings where the wings are going like this. I've had many of those, but nothing ever, no damage is ever done. Uh, back in the day, traveling by car, there was a few of those close calls. Just simply by shooting the shit and enjoying the company of my passengers and not paying attention to the road. I heard that this morning on the news about one of the biggest causes of accidents and during Thanksgiving was people not paying attention to what they're doing while they're driving. And so that's something I would suggest to everybody: go a little slower and pay attention. So I've been lucky. I didn't have those bad car wrecks like a lot of the guys did, but I did most of my own driving, and so then I could control the speed and r- recklessness or the lack thereof, and just move on to the next spot.
Jay Jackson is with us here, and he's got a question. He says, I've been a fan since the Crockett days. My question for you is, how amazing was it as a relatively new commentator to call the first War Games back in 1987? It's one of my favorite wrestling memories. Jim, you've been a part of so many legendary calls, but that first War Games, did that feel special when it was happening? Did you know that this was going to be a big deal forever and ever?
It felt good. It felt really good, quite frankly. And anytime I've always been a big proponent of what's new in wrestling and new faces, surprises, all good. Even if the match sucks, if it's new and different, you don't have a total loss. So it was just a big thing, wasn't that in the Omni? I think it was in
Yeah,
the
I
Omni.
think it was. Yeah. And
That
you
was
had
our
5-on-5. And I think that was actually JJ Dillon's last match. He took that Road Warrior finish, and I
yeah,
think he blew out his shoulder. And that was
yeah.
all she wrote for JJ in ring.
That's right. Well, it was time, but JJ was a good soldier, no doubt about that. The Omni was our Madison Square Garden at that time, so it was the biggest venue in the territory. So that made it special. And then the card was dotted with Hall of Famers. I can't remember a match I called where so many Hall of Famers were involved in it, and it was it was special, no doubt, because I never called one, and we never had one, so it's all new, and I'm a big fan of new.
I want to, we mentioned JJ Dillon there. I want to remind everybody that you and JJ are both going to be at WrestleCade this weekend. It's this Saturday, and it is one of the go to events, one of the must attend events if you're a hardcore wrestling fan. And man, this thing is so stocked with legends, they're completely sold out. Tony Schiavone was shut out from attending WrestleCade. They just didn't have room for him. That's how many legends are going to be there,
Wow.
including good old JR. This Saturday, November 30th, from 10 in the morning until 1:30.
Yeah.
So be there early. Come see the greatest to ever do it behind the microphone, and you can get all your information and maybe pre-order and get your tickets and all that you need at WrestleCade.com. Winston-Salem, here we come. You have a blast at that every time, don't you, Jim?
I sure do. I like those fan conventions, and this is one of the most outstanding fan conventions on the circuit. I look forward to being there and going there and seeing people again. And that one of the great things for guys like me at my late age is that I get to reconnect with a lot of people, and I look forward to that. People you hadn't seen, how the kids, how's the family? Did your boy graduate from high school? Or I got a son in college now, JR, that kind of thing. I love that. I love that. So WrestleCade is this Saturday. I'm doing extended duties from 10 in the morning to 1:30 in the afternoon. And so if you guys will drop by and say hi and get a photo taken and something signed or whatever you want to do. You know, I did an appearance, that appearance I did last week, or week before last, up in, where was that at, Conrad? In Newark?
Yeah, that sounds right. Yeah, I
Well,
think you were doing the big event up there, right?
yeah, with Lawler.
Oh,
It
how
was,
was that?
that was awesome. We had the longest line there.
I love that, man.
Yeah, so it's good. I had a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people I hadn't seen in a long time. It was just really good. Uh, guys, obscure guys like Harvey Whippleman,
Oh yeah,
Brook,
guys you hadn't seen in a while.
Brooklyn Brawler, those from every level, from preliminaries to main events. It just was terrific. I loved it. So I look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday. Hope you'll come by and say hi, and we'll talk about what you had for Thanksgiving.
I really want to encourage everybody to go see JJ Dillon too. I had a chance to catch up with his lovely daughter at Kevin Sullivan's celebration of life, if you will. And, you know, JJ's getting up there in age and maybe his memory's not as sharp as it once was. And his lovely daughter has been giving him things to look forward to. And the thing that he's had circled and he's been looking forward to is WrestleCade. Not to be negative, but JR always says, hey, we don't know how many more of these we'll get to do together. Go out of your way to see JJ and see JR and some of your favorites. If you've been saying, hey, one day, hey, someday, make that this Saturday at WrestleCade. WrestleCade has all your information at WrestleCade.com. Man, JJ is one of the unsung heroes of those Crockett days, wasn't he?
Without a doubt, he kept Dusty straight.
There you go.
JJ's booking book was immaculate. He could actually spell. Dusty just put words down that sounded like what it was supposed to be. But JJ was a meticulous bookkeeper, and kind of like that your series with David Crockett with a booking book. JJ had one just like it, and I guarantee you'd be challenged to find incorrect spelling. He was meticulous.
Excellent penmanship. We're talking about it each and every month over at Ad Free Shows. We break down the book with David Crockett.